Hi everybody, welcome back to 100% Mag. So Newcastle United go into this game after the international break against Spurs at St James's Park, and of course this will be Newcastle United taking on Spurs in a 2:05 kickoff, and of course we'll be attempting to stop Spurs picking up a fourth successive victory at St James's Park as well, which is something that Spurs have never done in the Premier League era and have never done, I don't think, in their whole history of their club. If we look at, of course, Spurs in the Premier League era, of course, last season we lost 3-1 against Spurs, and of course that was Jose Mourinho's first time picking up a win at St James's Park in 8 times asking, and of course the previous 7 times before that win last season, of course, produced 3 draws and 4 losses. So Jose Mourinho has always been one of them managers that's always found it pretty hard to deal with at St James's Park. He's always found it hard to go into this game and pick up a win. And of course, he's got a lot of respect as well for Newcastle United, a lot of respect for the area as well. And of course, St James's Park as well, with it being his old mentor, Sir Bobby's ground. Sir Bobby's club, and he's always had a lot of respect for the area, a lot of respect for the club, the fans, and last season and picking up a win was a big, massive achievement for him. But hopefully, going into the game on Sunday, when it is all done and dusted, Jose Mourinho comes out on the end of a defeat, because we need the points going into this game. You can see, the way things are working this season, we need to pick up as many points as possible. And looking at, of course, our players going into this game, we're going to be without Isaac Hayden. We're going to also be without Fabian Shaw. There's also the likes of Martin Dubravka, Kieran Clark, Jeff Hendrick, Emil Kraft, Jamal Lewis and Ryan Fraser, who are all on international duty. Of course, they'll all be back off international duty for the game against Spurs. But there's also, that fact that what's going to happen in the aspect of players maybe having to isolate, because that's something, that I put up on Twitter. Well, my brother put up on Twitter for us, and literally something that we've been thinking about, as fans. Is this something that we're going to have to look at going into this game on Sunday? Is the likes of maybe Harry Kane not going to be playing for Tottenham? If so, that does give a boost. But again, like I say, look at the players that we've got out on international duty. Martin Dubravka is our #1 goalkeeper. We've got Kieran Clark, Jeff Hendrick, Emil Kraft, Jamal Lewis as well, who's our left back. Then we've got Ryan Fraser as well, who had, I've got to say, a really good moment for himself in scoring the equalising goal in the game for Scotland, just gone in that international game. And then, of course, there's optimism around the fact that Callum Wilson and Alan St. Maxim can come back into the side as well for this game. If that's the case, we'll have to see, but they have been featured both training on the training ground, so there could be a big possibility that they will play in the game on Sunday. And there's big news for Spurs as well going into the game, as Heung-min Son is predicted to be available for the game, so that's a big one as well. As we all know, Heung-min Son is a dangerous player to play against on his day when he's putting in a really good performance, and we'll have to look at that and try and combat that in some way. On the road this season, Spurs have won 7 times, of course, at Southampton, Man United, Burnley, West Brom, Sheffield United, Fulham and Aston Villa, and 3 draws as well, which came at Chelsea, Palace and Wolves, while 5 defeats were suffered at Liverpool, Brighton, Manchester City, West Ham and Arsenal. And like I say, if we look at the past 4 fixtures in the Premier League era, of course, we lost 3-1 last season, with Matt Ritchie scoring the only goal in the game. There was a 2-1 loss the season before that, with Josh Lewis scoring the only goal in the game. A 2-0 loss to them as well in the 17-18 season, and then of course the 15-16 season, just before we went down into the Championship, we won 5-1 with Gini Wijnaldum bagging a double, Mitrovic also scoring, and Daryl Janmaat. So we haven't won against Spurs since coming back up into the Premier League, and you know that's a little bit of a worrying factor, especially when we need to get as many points as we can on the board. So we'll have to see how it goes going into the game on Sunday, how we'll play in the game. But if it's anything like the game against Brighton, then you know we're going to be in absolute crap. Let's just say that, to be honest, with the way things are going at the moment. That game against Brighton really put a dampener on our survival in the Premier League. But of course, there is teams around with, like Fulham, like Brighton, who have still got very tough games ahead. And if we can win our games, what are winnable games, you know, then we've got a very good chance of staying up in the Premier League for another season. Of course, the ongoing involvement of Liverpool and Arsenal in Europe as well has resulted in a change to the fixtures for the next round of the Premier League as well, which does have a significant ramification for us Newcastle fans. Liverpool's visit to Arsenal had been set for April the 4th, but now takes place the previous evening, whilst Fulham's trip to Aston Villa moves to Sunday tea time, meaning that Fulham now play after Newcastle, and as a consequence will kick off against Spurs outside of course, the bottom three. Going in this game, you know, they haven't announced the refs or the VAR yet, but, you know, at the end of the day, they haven't really been that great for this season, the refs or the referee on VAR. They've made very questionable decisions that have cost weight times in games, and you know I expect the same again pretty much from that side of the game, because you know the referees on VAR are not great. They're never great. They always make questionable decisions, and it always costs with in games. But hopefully we can come out on top in this game. I'd go for Newcastle to come away from this one with a draw against Spurs. If we could, maybe steal a 1-0 win, but I wouldn't say any more than that. I couldn't see Newcastle going into this one and absolutely dominating Spurs, to be honest. But you know, let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. As always, remember to like, share, subscribe to 100% Mags, and I'll see you all next time. However, that's